Hey Bayek, it's me Ian, and in today's video I'm continuing my series looking at Hammer House of Mystery and Suspense from 1984, and this is episode 6, Black Carrion from 1984. And wow, this is such a good episode. I love it. It's just got so much atmosphere in it. And it's a very cleverly written story as well. Absolutely. I love it. Okay, so let's get into it. It's 70 minutes long. It was transmitted November the 12th, 1984. Now, it's written by Don Houghton. And, well, straight away, of course, he's written for classic Doctor Who. Oh, yes, the Third Doctor. The classic, well, they're both brilliant stories. Inferno from 1970. John Pertwee. Wow, Third Doctor. Also, The Mind of Evil, 1971. Brilliant. So, great writer. Also, he wrote films that I love as well. And Hammer Connection. Dracula, AD 1972, which is absolutely superb. I love that one. Dracula comes into the modern world in 1970s. Then we've got The Satanic Rites of Dracula, 1973. He wrote that. And also, I think a really good one is The Legend of the Seven Golden Vampires, 1974. Peter Cushing stars in it, and it's vampires, martial arts. Wow, it's brilliant. Check that out. So, great writer. Then it's directed by John Huff. Oh, he's superb as well. What experience he's got. Now, he'd also directed in this Checkmate, the first one, with Susan George. I absolutely love that one. And also A Distant Scream as well. Wow, brilliant. So he'd done those. Then he's, well, looking at what he directed, it's just wonderful. Sudden Terror from 1970, which is brilliant. Susan George is in that, actually. Twins of Evil, 1971. Wow, that is absolutely love that. It's a Hammer one. He was also The Legend of Hell House, 1973, which is considered a great one. Dirty Mary, Crazy Larry, 1974. Escape to Witch Mountain, 1975. That's Disney on. And then The Return from Witch Mountain, 1978. This is great stuff. Brass Target, 1978. The Incubus, wow, 1981. Just, I know I mentioned it before, but it's just wonderful. And doing this is great. It shows as well because it's just such a good story, this. Now, locations we've got at Great Gaddesden in Hertfordshire. We've got Nebworth House, which is quite fantastic looking, massive hall. I'm sure that's where they have the concerts. They've had Nebworth concerts, and that is the Verne Brothers mansion in it. Also, we've got the Elstree Studios, where the Verne Brothers archive footage was recorded. And even they used Abbey Road Studios. And also, you always get, it's nice to have a quarry, isn't it? Who can, well, we've got Betworth Quarry. Betworth Quarry in Surrey, which is important part of the story. And also, I'd just like to say the two who play the Verne brothers wrote two of the songs featured. Very talented. Okay, so let's get into the cast. Now, the cast is headed by Season Hubley. What a name that is. Cora Belaine, she plays one of the journalists, an expert on 60s music. She was in notable films. Hardcore, 1979, is a great film. Also, this is a cult classic, Escape from New York, 1981. She's in that. Wow. Fantastic, isn't it? Just John Carpenter film, Kurt Russell. Oh, yeah. And she was just in stacks of TV series and films. Wonderful career, fantastic. And she's very good in this. Then we've got Lee Lawson, who plays Paul Taylor. Notable films for him really are Casanova, 2005, which starred Heath Ledger. That's his main film because his output is all TV series and TV films. Massive career. Fantastic. Then I'd just like to mention, he's a popular face that does pop up. It's Norman Bird again, playing Henry Butcher. It's not a big role, as often is with Norman Bird, but he's such a familiar face. Also, I learned when in my research, he was born in Colville, which isn't that far away from where I live, here in Leicestershire. Yes, it's not Yorkshire. It should be because I'm here, but it's not. Anyhow, he was born there, and so he's a bit local. But films that he was in, like League of the Gentlemen, 1960, and of course, most notable, Whistle Down the Wind, 1961, Victim, 1961, Cash on Demand, 1961, Maniac. Now that is a really good 1963. That is a Hammer-produced story. Yeah, not a gothic horror one, but it's a really good one. And then he was in Hands of the Ripper, which is Hammer at its best, and one of the great ones, 1971. And also, he was in Young Winston. Yeah, the Richard Attenborough directed film, Young Winston, 1972. And then he just pops up. He's a familiar face. He's just on loads of TV series. Just amazing actor. I love to see actors like that you just know them. They never get the massive starring roles, but they're there. They're just there. Brilliant he was. Then we've got Alan Love playing Ray Verne. He's not really a massive lot of acting, and he was actor and composer. But he went into being a restaurateur. Yes, a Gordon Ramsay. Yes, kind of person. Yeah, that's what he is. Then we've got Julian Littman playing Ron Verne, his brother, and his most notable film is Evita from 1996, the musical. Madonna in that one. Again, just lots of TV series, TV movies. That's his career, yeah. So those are the key sort of people I've picked out from this. There are other just very smaller roles, but there are. So you're saying, but get on with it. What's it all about? Well, what I love about this, it's got a nostalgia base. So I'm already in, and a musical one at that. The question this film poses, in many ways, is whatever happened to the Verne brothers, who were quite big between the period 1960, 1963, just before the Beatles came on the music scene. And they were considered really good. They were going to be big, massive, and they were successful. But then they just disappeared. And nobody's heard about them. And then they're a sort of collection of songs from that period is being released, and to give it a bit more sort of push in publicising it, he wants to know whatever happened to them. This producer of this record, and the two journalists are basically employed by him to find out what happened to them. And that's how the story develops. And it's great because we see this archive footage of them playing their hit songs. And it's wonderful. The atmosphere that they've created. Absolutely love it. All of that period. So the music, and that music is played throughout. It's wonderful. Absolutely love it. Anyhow, they go... This all leads to this sort of village which has been cut off, basically, because the development of motorways, and we learn what really did happen. And one of the journalists, of course, played by Susan Hubley Cora, has a childhood connection to all this, and she keeps having these flashbacks, and she's involved in uncovering and unraveling the whole mystery of whatever happened to them. It's such an engaging story, and it asks you so many questions as well. And as you're going along the way, I was totally enthralled in it. I have seen. I must confess. Okay, I knew this story quite well because it's one I've watched a lot. If there's one story I'll pop out and watch, is this one again, repeated viewing. I just love it, and it just captures something so wonderful. Wow, it's a great story, and I say the direction is, you can't argue with this experienced director, and the writing, of course, because they're both so great. The way they've put this together. Everything about it is just great. And I think this whole series, which is not as seen as good as the Hammer House of Horror, the first one we got from 1980. This is seen as a lesser one. But when you got stories of this quality, I don't think so at all. No, far from it. No. That's it. I just love it, as you might have gathered. But I better stop now. Anyhow, if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and we'll let you know when I put out all my content on this channel. Have a look at playlists, and you might enjoy it, you might not. And also, if you like this particular video, please give it a like. If you've got any comments as well, please put your comments down. I love to read your comments. And say, it all costs note. So you can't say fairer than that. And I better be quiet now. So all I gotta say is, I'll see thee again.